Are they related? Are they the same person? Nope. In this list of celebrities, they might all look alike, but they'll be completely different people. Let's see how many you've mixed up before. 25 celebrities that look like each other. 25. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Javier Bardem. Be honest, how many times have you seen a movie with one of them in it and thought it was the other one? Luckily, Jeffrey Dean Morgan doesn't have a thick Spanish accent, so once they start dialogue, you could probably guess real quick who's who. According to Google, Morgan is about 3 inches taller than Bardem, so at least next to each other, you can differentiate. Bonus for both of them is that they're both married to gorgeous and talented actresses. 24. Jessica Chastain and Bryce Dallas Howard. They both have red hair, they both have green eyes, and some freckles on their skin. Oh, and they were both starring in The Help together. Which one's which? The one on the left is Jessica Chastain, while the one on the right is definitely Bryce Dallas Howard. We think. The two even admit people mix them up all the time, with Chastain even posting a video of Howard lip-syncing that she's not Jessica Chastain. Confusing? 23. Millie Bobby Brown and Natalie Portman. If Millie Bobby Brown's hair was cut into a bob and you placed her in Leon the Professional, would you even be able to tell the difference between her and young Natalie Portman? A lot of people on Twitter think not. People have been wanting Brown to play a younger Princess Leia, meaning her Star Wars universe mother would have been Portman as well. On SNL, Portman even dressed up as Eleven in their Stranger Things spoof. 22. Henry Cavill and Matt Bomer. With or without glasses on, these two dark-haired leading men look totally alike. Maybe it's the cleft chin, the strong, angular jaw, and the same eye color, body build, or maybe it's everything. Again, if they were standing next to each other, you'd probably need to hear them talk so you can hear Matt Bomer's American voice contrasting with Henry Cavill's clearly English accent. 21. Will Ferrell and Chad Smith. If anyone's gonna turn all that look-alike gossip into a joke, it would of course be people like Will Ferrell and Chad Smith. The comedian and the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers have long been said to look alike. They stand at 6'3" and are both in their 50s. On The Tonight Show, they even showed up dressed alike and had a drum-off against each other. The comparison must get really annoying, however, because at one concert, when a fan called out Will Ferrell's name to Smith, the drummer stomped off stage. 20. Elizabeth Banks and Julie Bowen. With those heads of blonde hair and the same looking smile, you'd be forgiven if you mixed up actress Elizabeth Banks with fellow actress Julie Bowen. Of course, Bowen looks much more like Banks after undergoing plastic surgery. Not that Bowen meant to look more like Banks and therefore got some work done, although that would be totally understandable. Who wouldn't want to look like Banks? Or Bowen for that matter. 19. Jada Pinkett Smith and Zoe Saldana. They have such similar appearances, people might not only think they resemble each other, but that they might be related. Whether or not they're related somewhere down the line, you've got to admit they've got some pretty good genes. Zoe Saldana is 40 years old, while Jada Pinkett Smith is 46 years old, and you wouldn't have even guessed by their looks alone. 18. Margot Robbie and Jamie Presley. Down to the shape of their faces, the size of their lips, their eyes and eyebrows, it's difficult to believe that Margot Robbie and Jamie Presley are indeed not the same person. If Presley was significantly older than Robbie, then we might even theorize she's her mother. But she's only got about 12 years on Robbie, so the most we can say is long-lost sisters? 17. Leighton Meester and Rachel Bilson. If you're in your 20s to early 30s, you might remember a time when shows like The OC and Gossip Girl were on TV. Both created by Josh Schwartz. The OC aired first, starring Rachel Bilson as one of the main 4 cast members. Soon after that ended, a few years pass and we get Leighton Meester as Blair Waldorf in Gossip Girl. Funny enough, these two petite brunettes have Adam Brody in common, with Bilson playing his on-screen love interest and Meester as his wife in real life. 16. Dane Cook and Skylar Astin. The joke that Skylar Astin and Dane Cook look alike must have made its way to the stars themselves. Back in 2013, Astin posted a picture of him and Dane Cook standing beside each other, hats on and hands in pockets. Astin cheekily captioned it by saying, "We don't see it." Very funny. Besides being hilarious, Cook and Astin share that same shape of head, chin, color of eyes, and hair. 15. Jennifer Garner and Hilary Swank. This might be one you never thought of before, but now that we mention it, you won't be able to unsee it. The more you look at Jennifer Garner and Hilary Swank, the more they look alike. The shape of their jaws possess that same angularity. Plus, with those buttery brunette locks, they could at the very least pass as sisters. 14. Emily Kinney and Ivana Lynch. Just look at these photos. Which one was in the Harry Potter movies and which one was on The Walking Dead? How many people at Comic-Con do you think confused one with the other? On the microphone is actress and singer Emily Kinney of Walking Dead fame, while the other blonde is Ivana Lynch, who you all recognize as Luna Lovegood. 13. Jai Courtney and Philip Phillips. While they look like brothers, actor Jai Courtney and singer Philip Phillips are from completely different sides of the world. Courtney hails from Australia. He's no A-list celebrity yet, but you might recognize him from movies like Suicide Squad, Divergent, and the newest Terminator movie. Philip Phillips, on the other hand, is all-American, winning the 11th season of American Idol in 2012. 11. Sarah Hyland and Mila Kunis. If Sarah Hyland and Mila Kunis were the same age, you could have swapped one out each week as Jackie on That 70s Show and have the other one come in for the next week, and you wouldn't have ever noticed the difference. These two small brunettes have the same huge eyes, long voluminous brown hair, and even similar smiles. In 2014, Hyland even admitted that, yes, she does get called Mila all the time. 10. Nina Dobrev and Victoria Justice. Being around the same age and both in teen-oriented media, Nina Dobrev and Victoria Justice got mistaken for each other all the time. Can you blame anyone? Their hair is so similar, even down to the way they styled it. Plus, they have the same apple-shaped cheeks and skinny frame. Hollywood, cast these women as sisters immediately. 9. Logan Marshall Green and Tom Hardy. Especially when they're donning beards, it's almost impossible to tell the difference between Logan Marshall Green, who you saw in Prometheus, and fellow actor Tom Hardy, of Mad Max fame. The big factor in how you can tell who's who is their jawline, with Hardy's much smoother than the angular jaw of Marshall Green. So when they wear that facial hair, well, good luck. 8. Portia de Rossi and Drea de Matteo. They even have similar names. Alas, Portia de Rossi isn't really Italian and her real name is Amanda Lee Rogers, legally DeGeneres now. That doesn't change the fact, yes, the fact, that she basically acts as a mirror to Drea de Matteo. Take a gander at these photos side by side. Can you even tell us who you think is de Matteo and who's de Rossi? 7. Zachary Quinto and Eli Roth. The heavy brows, hairiness they try to control, and down to the shape of their faces, it's hard to believe that Zachary Quinto and Eli Roth aren't closely related. If you said they were twins, we'd believe that too, though Quinto is slightly slimmer. You know Quinto best as starring on the NBC show Heroes, and then getting cast as the iconic Spock in the new Star Trek movies. Eli Roth you'll remember in Inglourious Basterds, as well as the films he directed, like Hostile. 6. Zooey Deschanel and Katy Perry. We're sure you've seen those memes of how much people mix up Katy Perry and Zooey Deschanel, especially when Perry had dark hair and bangs. They share those same round blue eyes. That might be the biggest factor. Sometimes, Perry looks more like Deschanel's sister than Deschanel's actual sister Emily. Throw in Emily Blunt, and you've got triplets. 5. Austin Butler and Cord Overstreet. Tall, blonde, blue eyes, and an elongated face. We're talking about both Austin Butler and Cord Overstreet. What's going on with casting? Where's their wholesome all-American family movie? People might have even mixed them up, with Butler starring in shows like Switched at Birth and The Carrie Diaries, whereas Overstreet gained his fame from Glee. They're sure to have gotten mixed up by their own teen fans. 4. Selena Gomez and Lucy Hale. One year, they even wore the same dress, albeit it was on different red carpets. Still, if you just saw those event snapshots next to each other, you would have done a double take. Selena Gomez and Lucy Hale are both petite, brown-haired, and share comparable face shapes. In an interview with Hale, she did admit that she often gets mistaken for Gomez and gets called Selena in the street. 3. Richard Dawkins and Emma Watson. Famous author, ethologist, and biologist Richard Dawkins is a huge figure in the scholastic world. He's also English. You know who else is English? Emma Watson. Even with that in common, it seemed like a stretch to some people that Watson was his secret love child. Even though the photo of Emma Watson on the right was altered to look more like Dawkins, you have to admit it doesn't really look that altered. 2. Kristen Stewart and Teresa Palmer. Side by side with Kristen Stewart as a blonde, she looks almost indistinguishable from Aussie actress Teresa Palmer. About 4 years separate them, with Stewart only 28 years old, while Palmer is 32. Perhaps if you colored Palmer's hair the same dark brown that Stewart sported in the Twilight movies, we might have had a different Bella Swan. 1. Amy Adams and Isla Fisher. Then we get to the most doppelganger pair of them all. Amy Adams and Isla Fisher. Sometimes you can distinguish the two by their voices, but for the most part, you always mix these two up. Apparently, Lady Gaga even mistook Fisher for Adams once. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Fisher says fans confuse them all the time. Did you get psyched out to realize some of these celebrities aren't the same person? Or that they're not even related at all? Down in the comments, tell us the famous people who you always mix up. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe.